It's about observation and curiosity. Start noticing, how do you gesture? Are there habitual gestures that you use? I came to this simply, particularly in my MFA, where we were really looking at taking on the physical habits of others and noticing the gestures of others, helped me to become very aware of my own gestural style. And this was exciting because then it allowed me to become more conscious. So back to the fact that you can be a minimal gesturer, and there are politicians who are minimal gesturers, and they're still very impactful. For me, if I decide I'm not going to gesture, it tends to concentrate my energy and slow down my delivery. And it almost puts me in a kind of internal, more sensual space. So as I'm doing this with you now, I'm feeling everything slowing down and calming down. And when I do the breath guided meditation, not meditation so much as exercise, though it has parts of both, right? It is a meditative exercise. I start being very slow and I really don't gesture because I'm creating a different experience. When I'm teaching a concept, I'm going to start using my gestures more. And if you're a teacher, for example, you may have learned this already, that for visual learners, backing up something you're talking about with a strong gesture can be very helpful. So here's an example of all the different gestural aspects that we have, right? There's the still, more internal gesturer. Notice if when you're still, everything slows down. Although it's very interesting, what happens if we speak really intently while we're very still? What does that look like? How does that feel in your body? What does it bring up in you? Well, for me, it's this attitude. Could be different for you. So there's so many things we can look at when we're addressing this aspect of performance. You might have a podium. You might be leaning on that podium. You might be in a Zoom meeting and be gesturing, but nobody can see it. And I think that's okay, because for me, gesturing, I teach on Zoom, and so I'm frequently gesturing, but they may not always see my hands. And they still get, because for me, gesture and voice go together, they will still get what's in the gesture by me doing it, even if they can't see the entire gesture. And in fact, on the videos that I'm sharing with you, I've seen that too. Sometimes I'm gesturing below the camera, but it's still part of what my entire body is doing, okay? So don't worry if people can't see your gesture. Don't think it's irrelevant if it's below their field of vision. It's still relevant. But back to the podium. There are things that we do as sort of rest places. There are things we use as props when we're uncomfortable with our body gesturing. One is the podium, hanging onto the podium. But you can also rest on the podium to ground yourself, and then you can lean in at that appropriate and impactful moment. Right, and I'm just saying appropriate and impactful moment, and it's not really very dynamic speech, but I'm pretending that it is in this case.